If you happen to come across any of these videos or a certain video of mine and you want to know more, or it's not making any sense to you because you started in the middle somewhere, of course, just click on here for newbie day traders. Go to videos, sort by oldest to newest, and just start from the beginning and just follow along. To recap very briefly from our last video with the stock, what got me interested to get into the stock was looking at a year view and noticing the upward trend. And then I just started going down in time scale, right? Sort of 6 months, and then 3 months, and then 5 days. And then at this point, I started thinking about drawing some trend lines, resistance and support trend lines. And I already went over that. And it still looked good, so I decided, okay, I'm going to jump in. But now the question becomes, when do I jump in? This is just a static picture, a snapshot that I took, a screenshot. I'm actually in Paint here. And I want you to know that these two long trend lines are essentially from the 24th of January, the whole trading week, and 2 days of the second week, so to the end of the day of February 1st. While those two trend lines give me some confidence in the short term, it's only a week old, right? Still progressing upward. They don't tell me when to jump in. So what I then did is I could have drawn a support line, I suppose, up here, but I decided that the risk for me was not, I was willing to live, I didn't see the benefit of drawing an increased support line here because I already could tell by these peaks that the resistance line was dropping faster anyway. So I just drew the resistance line into the future. Now, based on the convergence of this very short term, I guess it's in the same trading day, and this long-term support line, I probably, should have probably picked a price down here. So under 3 cents, somewhere in the 294, 295, maybe 296 range, and just placed a buy order at that time. Now, someone might say, well, no, actually, what about safer down here? Okay, maybe. But let's say that I did draw some near-term support lines. Wouldn't I have drawn something like this? So, or even like so. There's the three. So I could, so I might miss this. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, that would have been safe. A little bit something I haven't talked about much. I don't think at all. I'm not sure. You can also buy and average down and just keep buying down. I did talk about that before, now that I remember. Well, for better or for worse, this is what I actually did. My first buy order, I placed it very early in the morning because I guess I woke up and I decided to do a limit order of 0305. And it actually filled at 9:31 a.m. So roughly, where you see this orange arrow going down, an average price of 304. So we can say that it was somewhere in here, 304, somewhere in there. And then, because it was reaching this resistance line here a little bit later, this is compressed time, by the way, I placed another order, a sell order, at 310, 0310, and it filled at 310. So I made a what, 5/10 of a cent Well, since I sold all my shares, I decided, oh, gee, I want to buy some more here. So I placed a buy order, a limit price of 0302, and actually I was able to buy at 0300 a little bit later, so roughly somewhere in here. And like I said, it hit the resistance line and went down much like I thought it would. And I may not be marking these correctly, but then I made another buy order, this time a limit of 3. Did I say that? And so I had 2 buy orders around this time. Now, should I have waited? Should I have waited till, it dropped more? But as you can see, that curve, it did not drop more. And why didn't it? Well, we could have seen that had we, for example, I could have drawn a trend line, say from here, and that would have sort of predicted that it was going to turn around. So that's why I went ahead and bought some more. I actually did 3 buy orders, and one of those was actually a good price of 0285. But in any case, you can see where it was hitting toward the bottom of that very short-term support line, and I felt safe as long as it was above this anyway. And then once it turned around, then I could have drawn another support line right there. So let's go ahead and do that, and there you go. Now, however, it could have been, since it broke away from this short-term resistance line into this area here, it went back down. But then it started doing okay, and I think you can say up to this point, we were doing better than expected. Then it just started going down, and then we were still doing better than expected for our long-term support line. Now, here's the other problem. You look at the times. Well, you can't. Let me move this up a little bit. If you look at the times here, this is now 10 in the morning, 11, noon. I was busy working, so I really couldn't pay attention to. And I could have. I didn't really think to put any sell orders because again, I'm not really just day trading because I kind of believe in the stock just based on the long term. So I wasn't too worried about it, and I'm paper trading anyway. So it was still doing better than expected short term until we get to here. Now this is definitely lower than the long term support, than the week. Remember, this green line here is a week's trend support. So now it's below there. Now I want to show you something here. This right here, I'm not going to say that it is, but it could be because it happened very quickly. This could be somebody just mucking around or stop loss hunting to trigger stop losses because it quickly, look how far down it went and look how far up it went that quick. And it caused all kinds of havoc. And now it's doing a kind of like just a sideways. At the moment, if you think about it, there really is no trend. We can do something like this. We could do this, put it here, and bring it out here. That's one way to look at it. We can also draw a trend line from here this way. That looks nice, but you can't really go by. I wouldn't go by these two because of just how they are. What I'm thinking that they are. So I would probably go more with this one. And then as far as resistance, and let's go say here, and that's a resistance line. So now what's interesting is here is where we have that case when I showed you those trend line patterns and paint a little bit ago. I think it was the previous video. This is a horizontal movement here, and it looks like if you look at this volume, the volume's going down, interest is probably less, so this really doesn't have a trend. I hope you were able to follow along doing what I was doing. You picked your own stocks and try your hand at using trend lines to decide when to buy and sell and how to analyze the chart. So we're going to stop right here and I will see you in the next video.